they were convicted and they were sentenced, and they should stick by the sentencing.
Jesse Trapp's mother was murdered by Cecil Davis in 1996. Today's Supreme Court ruling on the death penalty has her disgusted and distraught.
And he probably feels like he just got away with murder.
There were 8 men on death row waiting to be put to death. Now they'll live their death penalty sentences converted to life in prison.
As absent legislative action, the death penalty is finished in the state of Washington.
Governor Jay Inslee, who declared a moratorium on the death penalty in 2014, applauded the ruling by the state Supreme Court.
Today, the court affirmed that indeed the Washington death penalty system has been arbitrary and racially biased in its application, and they have ended it immediately.
The Supreme Court issued 2 opinions, and all 9 justices were in agreement the death penalty is unconstitutional. They cited a study by UW sociologist Catherine Beckett.
If 2 individuals are faced with the same charges, an African American person and a Caucasian person, for example, all other factors being the same, an African American is 4.5 times more likely to get the death penalty than a Caucasian individual.
Today's ruling came in the case of Alan Eugene Gregory, a black man who was convicted of raping, robbing, and killing Janine Harshfield, a 43-year-old woman, in 1996.
She was a wonderful, loving, caring woman, and what he did was horrible.
Lee Pedden fought for justice for her daughter for decades.
I lost my child, so of course, I paid a price, but he hasn't.
They're betraying victims, and they're basically helping the murderers get away with murder.
I sat down with Leonid Milken earlier this year after King County Prosecutor Dan Satterberg testified in Olympia in support of abolishing the death penalty. Milken's wife, Olga, their 2 little boys, Justin and Andrew, and Olga's sister, Luba Botvina, were murdered and their house set on fire in Kirkland in 2006. Their neighbor, Connor Shireman, was convicted and sentenced to death for the murders. What will it mean for you if and when Connor Shireman is executed?
I'll be relieved. I would be completely relieved and feel like the justice has been served.
Today I reached out to Milken for reaction to the Supreme Court ruling. He hadn't heard, so I told him. His reaction? This shows that the state Supreme Court can be wrong. Their decision is based on political garbage. I hope the legislators will fix this. What was your reaction? I sat down with King County Prosecutor Dan Satterberg this afternoon.
As somebody who's been trying to make Washington's death penalty law work for the last almost 3 decades, I was relieved.
Satterberg said in almost 40 years, the state has executed 4 people against their will and spent at least $50 million trying to do so in other cases, with cases dragging on for decades.
I can hold in my head the thought that men like Shireman, who did such horrific crime, doesn't deserve to live anymore, and also realize that our justice system is not prepared to effectively administer the death penalty. We've tried, believe me, we've tried, and we've spent an awful lot of taxpayer resources and litigation time trying to make it work.
Satterberg understands victims' relatives are going to be upset by the ruling.
So they're going to die, it's just a matter of when, and how hard do we want to fight to hasten their death by authorizing a state employee to administer a lethal dose. It just seemed like it became so contentious and so expensive and took so long that we'd really lost sight of what we wanted to do, which is to bring to the victim families some sense of finality and clarity and certainty. And I think we can do that better without the death penalty.
And unless the legislature makes a move, which the governor says he would veto anyway, the death penalty in Washington is gone.
This case was decided under our Washington state constitution. As a result, this decision cannot be appealed to the United States Supreme Court. So this is a final decision